Hey, so let's talk about forgiveness. Forgiveness is about forgiving someone for trespasses or forgiving yourself. Why is it important to forgive? And how does one go about forgiving? And what happens when you actually are able to forgive, whether it's yourself or whether it's somebody else? There's something called forgiveness with discernment. Discernment is the key factor there, where you forgive someone, but with discernment, so that you are able to still recognize and keep them at an arm's length distance and not allow them to come back into your life to hurt you again. But forgiveness is important. You don't forgive for somebody else, you forgive for yourself. Forgiveness, holding on to resentment, holding on to anger, holding on to any of those negative emotions, the pain, the hurt. Someone said, it's like it's like acid, right? It's toxic. What happens to the container that's holding the acid? It gets destroyed. But when you release the acid, then the container is saved. Forgiveness is sort of like that, where you release. It's the act of releasing the toxic, hurtful, painful energies within you so that you can then move on. It is very difficult to do. But I know it's doable because there's plenty of evidence in the world of people who have been able to forgive some of the most horrific crimes, some of the most horrific acts of hate. And they've come from a place of forgiveness and discernment and moving on. The other thing that is important is forgiving ourselves. I was facilitating a group recently with patients, and there was so much self-hatred, in the group, right? And what I asked was, are you, people are unwilling to forgive themselves, they're unwanting to forgive themselves, and they're unable to forgive themselves. So we are more likely to forgive somebody else, but we're much harder on ourselves, and we're not likely to forgive ourselves for something that was out of our control. So when you are sitting and beating yourself up, lunch break, when you're sitting and beating yourself up, ask yourself, if somebody else was telling you your story, how would you respond? Would you be so judgmental? Would you be so critical? Would you be so hard on them? Or would you show more compassion? Would you show more empathy? Would you show more forgiveness? And really, let's start there and let's look at, what is it that you're holding on to versus what is it that you're able to let go of? And at the end of the day, forgiveness is a step on the spiritual path. Anyways, hope you have a great lunch and talk to you later. Bye.